In this video, I'll be giving you the easiest methods to completing both the S.A.M AI and Uber Richtofen boss fights inside of Black Ops 6 Zombies in solo without the use of any overpowered gobblegums. Before we get into it, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe for more Call of Duty Zombies content. With that out of the way, let's get into it. So by now, you've probably at least attempted one of the two boss fights on the new map Reckoning, and you're probably here for a few tips and tricks after failing it. I got you guys though, don't worry, you've come to the right place. I've beaten both of these in solo without the use of any crazy gobblegum, so I feel like I've got a really good grasp on how to knock out these boss fights after running them a couple of times. They are probably the two hardest boss fights in the game, with Richtofen being the absolute hardest, so don't beat yourself up even after this video. If you go through all these tips and tricks and you still fail once or twice, trust me guys, it takes a while to get used to these, especially the Richtofen boss fight. But before we actually go up against either of the bosses, you're going to want to have a few augments equipped for your perks and field upgrade to give you the best chance at success as possible. Starting with the perks, for stamina up, I'd suggest equipping the minor augment Hard Target, which reduces projectile damage from enemies, as both of these bosses and mini bosses in the arena will have projectile damage capabilities, and you'll want all the health that you can get. For Juggernog, I'd run Probiotic and Hardened Plates. Again, you just want as much health as you possibly can have, and reactive armor just isn't good in these boss fights in my opinion. I'd also highly recommend PhD Slider and Trivulgus, just because during this boss fight, especially Trivulgus, you're going to have to be sliding around, you're going to have to be moving, you're going to be wanting as fast of an escape as you possibly can from where you're at, so definitely run these two augments on PhD. Now for Vulturade, make sure you have Fetid Upgrade, because you'll be able to charge your field upgrade much faster, which is going to be a necessity. And for Double Tap, make sure you have Double Standard and Double Time equipped. Really, you just want Double Standard here no matter what, because it'll increase your chance of doing critical damage to bosses even if you're not hitting critical shots. Shout out Donuts for the recommendation. Lastly, you're going to be running Ether Shroud for your field upgrade for both of these, so I'd suggest Burst Dash and Extra Charge just to take out a few extra enemies, and because you're going to really want that second Ether Shroud charge at multiple points during these boss fights. Weapon you'll see during this gameplay that I chose to use against the bosses was the brand new ABR Assault Rifle that was added in alongside Season 5. It hits about as hard as the AMAX and the Cypher, but in my opinion, it has way better movement speeds, which I'd compare to an SMG, which is a necessity for these boss fights because you're constantly going to be having to traverse and move around the arena as quickly as you can. On screen now is the build that I used if you're interested in copying this. Now that you've gotten everything you'll need in the pre-game out of the way, progress all the way to the point of no return and get ready for the boss fight inside the game. I would highly suggest upgrading Gorg Effects too, because it's great for crowd control during the boss fights, and it helps charge up your Ether Shroud faster. I'd also recommend equipping Cryo Freeze with your bullet weapon, as it damages the Uber Klaus and Commando Klauses really effectively. To round out your loadout, grab a Death Machine Score Streak and pick up a few Casimir's and you'll be good to go. Once you teleport through the repaired teleporter, you'll be prompted to pick a side that you want to fight for. If you choose S.A.M, you'll be going up against Uber Richtofen, but if you choose to stand by Richtofen, you'll be going up against the S.A.M AI Orb. Both have very different attacks and the fights are vastly different, but the commonality between them is that there's a few hoops to jump through on your way to the boss arena. After voting to pick a side, the lift will take you up towards the top of the tower. However, it'll make two stops along the way. The first, you'll have to run around and fill up 3 LTG canisters with souls. It's really not that hard and it's very self-explanatory. The second, you'll have to cleanse off some ether crystals from the pillars just like you did for the Pack-a-Punch. Again, these are really easy and it gives you a little bit extra time to prepare for the encounter, and there's even like an arsenal station, I think. Not a Pack-a-Punch, but for sure a Wonder Fizz in these rooms. So if you don't have anything going into this little last arena, or let's say you lose a perk, there's an opportunity for you to get something back. But once you complete both of these 2 little trials in these rooms, you'll be lifted up to the final arena. The first boss that we're going to be covering is the S.A.M AI, and in my opinion, she's much easier to defeat than Richtofen. S.A.M will be immune to your damage the majority of this boss fight, and her attacks range from shooting ether bullets at you, spinning to deploy the Uber Klaus like traps on the ground, an insta-kill laser attack that will really insta-kill you or damage you very quickly if you're not moving out of the way, and slamming the ground to try to push you off the building, which will cause you to parachute back onto the map. Now, like pretty much every other boss fight in the game, the S.A.M AI boss fight is broken up into 3 different parts. Phase 1, a little break. Phase 2, another little break, and then Phase 3. For Phase 1, you're going to have all of her attacks like the ether lasers, the red laser beam, and the spinning attacks. Now, the best way I've found to get through this first phase with literally no problems at all is to run around for the majority of her, normal attacks. She's going to be chasing you and teleporting around the arena here, shooting ether lasers at you. Don't even worry about it because she's going to be immune. There's not really a way to break her out of that immune state. Just keep running around, letting her do her thing. And then when she eventually goes to the red laser attack, that's when you know you got to be on top of your game. 1, because it can down you, but 2, you'll be able to damage her shortly after that. Guess I would recommend using Ether Shroud after she goes out of this phase. As soon as the red laser goes away, she's going to be able to, up on the side of her panels, all you have to do is run up, shoot those will be your crit spots. Eventually you'll break through, do more crit damage, that one will go away, and you'll be able to move on to one of the other red spots on her orb. You just want to keep repeating this every time she goes into the red laser phase. If you want some extra, so don't be afraid to use it, especially if you want to do mass damage on Sam in a short amount of time. Again, once the laser goes away and once she becomes immune again, she's going to keep chasing you around the arena. You want to just keep moving, keep running away from her. She will mix in a spinning attack where she will be vulnerable, so this is where the double tap augment comes into play here, because you can get some crit shots on her just hitting her normally. When she does the spinning attack, just keep moving around the room, keep running around. Be careful not to run into any of the electric fields on the ground, because those will damage you very quickly, but keep shooting at her, keep whittling down her health, and eventually you'll get into the break after phase 1. Now, if you did accidentally lose Quick Revive and a Dying Wish here, awesome news for you is that there is a SAM trial in between Phase 1 and Phase 2, where if you complete it in the amount of time allotted to you, you'll get a free perk, which automatically spawns in Quick Revive if you don't have it. If you don't have any other perks, then there's, of course, the random chance that you'll get those other extra perks. But for most people, honestly, and in my opinion here, I didn't go down once during this boss fight, so you don't even really need the perk. But this is a good chance to charge up your field upgrade. If you use 2 Ether Shrouds in Phase 1, really just be killing off zombies here to try to get as much progress towards either 1 or both of your Ether Shrouds back. If you can get to like 1, usually the fetid upgrade will spawn somewhere. You can just stand in that too and take care of some zombies if you're not really interested in doing the challenges for the free perk. Really cool in my opinion. You can get yourself back up to 2 Ether Shrouds during this little break. During Phase 2, it's pretty much the exact same phase as Phase 1, except her laser attack appears less often, and she's more doing like the spinning attack around the room and then chasing you around with like the ether bullets. This one is a little bit harder to get through just because it's a little more time consuming, but eventually she will go back to that red laser attack. Once that happens, you can use Ether Shroud, you can just run up to her and start doing damage to her crit spots, and then after you break a certain amount of panels, you'll be able to shoot her eye, which will be mass crit damage there, which is really nice. But again, it won't last very long, and as soon as that goes away, she'll be back to doing the spinning attacks as well as kind of just chasing you around the arena. That's when you got to be really careful, and honestly, just try to run around, damage her when you can when she's doing the spinning attacks, and wait for those red laser beams to appear again so that you can do crit damage and take down her health very quickly. After you get through Phase 2, another little break just like Phase 1 where you have another trial to do. This one, again, just kind of is nice for racking up your Ether Shroud. You don't really have to go for the perk unless you need it, but really just be trying to kill as many zombies as you possibly can to charge up your field upgrades. But once Phase 3 starts, this is when she'll add her last final potential attack, which is to kind of slam you if you get too close to her, and you'll be launched into the sky with a parachute. If you're just like parachuting down slowly, she will insta-down you as you're coming back down towards the tower. So be really careful there. Just try to get back down and land on the ground as quickly as you possibly can so you avoid a like one tap where you're just like floating in the air and down, and then you kind of lose more perks than you already did. Again, the whole point of the stage, though, is to just wait until that red laser beam hits and then try to go for mass crit damage here. The way I did this was get an Ether Shroud, wait until the laser goes away, pop it, and then use a Death Machine, and I was able to really take a lot of damage down here in the last stage. Death Machine is really good for this boss fight. You definitely want to use it towards the end, though, because it's like you could use it to get through the first 1 or 2 phases or the first phase, but it's not worth it in my opinion. Just save it for the last phase so you're not stuck at the very end or something doesn't happen right at the end of the boss fight. You just waste the hour and a half, 2 hours it took to get to this point. But after all 3 phases are complete, that's it. That's all you have to do for Sam. Like I said, this is probably the easier, for sure the easier of the 2 boss fights, but this is, you know, it's not too bad. You guys should have no problem getting through this. If you fail it once, you kind of understand it. It should be like a maybe fail it absolutely twice at the most. But with these tips, you should be good. I didn't even use any gobble gums in this gameplay. It was that easy. You really just constantly have to be charging up your Ether Shroud. Now on to the absolute hardest boss fight in the game. This is Uber Richtofen and Richtofen. There are 2 phases here. The first phase, he's in a mech suit just like an Uber Klaus. Pretty much has the exact same abilities with one extra one, I think, to be able to kind of like ground slam you a little bit more aggressively than a normal Uber Klaus. You just want to really be keeping your distance here. Zombies as well as the Commando Klauses and Uber Klaus will be spawning in at the same time. If you picked up a weapon with Cryo Freeze, you should have no problem taking those guys out. The way to take down a mech Richtofen here in phase 1, the best way that I've found is to obviously break his shoulders and then keep shooting his core in his face. The Wonder Weapon actually does some pretty decent damage against this guy, so if you have some time to shoot and mix in some Wonder Weapon bullets, you can take some extra damage down. pretty quickly, but I'd honestly just stay, keep your distance, stay away from him, use your assault rifle or whatever weapon you brought in here, and just kind of kill him and tickle his health down from afar so that you don't have any incidents or, potential Richtofen getting close to you and just ground pounding you, because I went down really quickly into the boss fight yesterday due to that, so just kind of keep your distance here with him. I say this part of the boss fight really isn't that hard just because he's not moving very quickly. It really is just a giant Mecha Klaus boss fight here. But once you are able to completely destroy his mech suit, just like the Commando Klauses, he will come out of the mech suit and he is super aggro. This is easily the hardest boss fight in the game at this point. You have to be super, super careful. Have a Wonder Waff that'll shoot at you. He'll be throwing shock charges. He'll stun you. He'll put blast traps down to kind of get in your way. He's an absolute menace. There's points where he'll go up in the sky and dive bomb you. He'll have like sweeping attacks where he'll shoot stuff down at you. You have to be really, really careful with him here because this is where the majority of people fail, and it's very, very tough. My best advice for this part of the boss fight, again, is just make sure you have some Ether Shrouds to go here. I maybe wouldn't use both of them to just focus him, just because you kind of want to have one just in case you're stuck in a corner or you're getting shot with the Wonder Waff. The way to avoid that kind of damage from him, because he can even insta-down you, is stick around the different vents and the boxes on the roof here and really play around those. Constantly be sliding away from him, constantly be trying to get away from him. You just do not even want to be close to him at all whatsoever. Basically just be on the opposite side of the map, kind of hugging the boxes. Every opportunity you have, shoot him a little bit. And when he's doing his Wonder Waff phase, honestly, just don't even worry about him. Like when he's shooting the Wonder Waff, if you're not comfortable with this boss fight, don't worry about focusing him hard at all. Just keep moving, running away from the boxes, running away from him, hiding around the boxes. He won't be able to like shoot the Waff around him, but just every once in a while pick him off. Now where you can actually get some pretty decent damage is when he ends up doing his like sweeping bombing attacks across the middle of the arena, because he's not going to be targeting you. He's just going to be bombing the middle of the map. This is when I'd use maybe like an Ether Shroud to kind of do some mass damage against him if you really want to try to knock off a phase here or two just by getting into Ether Shroud and shooting at him. He can't really hurt you in this phase if you're not in the middle of the map, so, I mean, that's pretty cool. But as soon as he's done with this, he will, like, jump up into the sky like Iron Man and then do, like, 2 dive bomb attacks. These are super easy to counter if you're looking up in the sky at the same time. I know it might be tough with all those things going on in the boss fight arena, but when you see him go up into the sky, look up, you'll see, like, an orangish red light somewhere up there, and then that'll be the side he's coming down on for that phase, and he'll go back up and then do it again on the other side, and then he'll be back to doing, like, the normal float around the map with his jetpack and Wonder Waff phase. This one really, again, super, super tough. I did have to use a couple Gobblegums to get through this in the earlier stages. Honestly, looking back at it, once I got the hang of it, I kind of settled in by phase 2, and I probably didn't have to do that, but just try to chip away, be careful, keep hugging the walls here. He does have different phases here, just like Sam, except there's not like a trial that spawns in or any way to get extra perks. You're basically just fighting zombies as he's up in the sky doing whatever for, 60 seconds. Another great opportunity to charge your Ether Shroud here. That's all you want to do during this phase, is constantly be killing, constantly be standing in the Vulture Aid Mist. Charge up your fuel upgrade so that when he comes back, you'll have those Ether Shroud abilities ready to go. Again, phase 2 is basically the same as phase 1. Same thing with phase 3 here. There just will be another break in between phases where you can charge up your field upgrades. You really just want to be doing that, man. You want to be spamming your field upgrades. I used the Death Machine on him here. As you'll see in the gameplay, I don't think it really did very much, which is unfortunate because the Death Machine was great against the S.A.M AI. I have a theory that you might actually be able to take some heavy damage off of Richtofen in this phase, especially when you're using the Grim Reaper score streak. Haven't been able to try it yet. If anyone has, let me know in the comments below. But yeah, guys, this is definitely the hardest boss fight of the game. I keep saying it. You guys really got to be hugging the wall. He will kill you. He's very aggressive, and just definitely be taking advantage of like sliding and trying to stick to those walls any way you can and get as far away from him as possible throughout this entire boss fight. You do not want to be anywhere near this guy. If you're in his line of sight, you're getting shot and stunned with the Wonder Waff. He'll one-shot you. You're frozen. You lose your armor and you're at half health. 2 shots are down on the ground trying to self-res. You get up and you're dead immediately. Like, it's really that aggravated of a boss fight. But hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope these extra little tips and this boss breakdown were helpful for you. If you found any of this enjoyable or helpful, be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Also, turn on notifications. I got a big banger video coming out, probably hopefully by the end of this weekend or Monday. It's been a month project for me. My buddy Rapid Fusion's been helping me out with it as well, so we're excited to show you guys what we have cooked up. Have a good rest of your day. Stay safe, stay hydrated. Peace.